a definition that I used on Sunday, defining what a miracle is. And that is that a miracle is an extraordinary manifestation. When something is manifest, something is taking place. It's the extraordinary manifestation of God intervening in a situation or occurrence which leaves no doubt that it was God who intervened. That's called supernaturally intervening. There leaves no doubt. There's no question about it. I don't have to wonder. I don't have to rationalize. I don't have to try to figure it out. How did it happen? All I know is that God moved. Why he moved? I can't say why he moved, because see, this is one thing you have to understand. Sometimes your miracle comes from other people praying for you. It is not always you that's praying for the miracle. It's sometimes there are others who believe in the Lord, that the Lord will direct a miracle in your life. Things about miracles is this: it gets your attention. It will get your attention. Now, I looked at another definition that says miracles are those acts that only God can perform. There are certain things that God doesn't have to do because we can do it. It's when he goes beyond the laws of nature. Well, see, and the thing about it, that he created nature. He created this natural environment that we're in, and even though he created it, he's not governed by it. He can work with it. He can work without it. He can work above it, and he can work against it. Last year, 2 years ago, the tornado in Suffolk, to me, it was miraculous that much damage could be done with that many people involved, and no one experienced death. Now, the news media try to find some death, because it's unheard of that would happen at that magnitude. Whole houses wiped off, whole houses pushed into somebody else's house, and all of that taking place. And then when you get through and you calculate, you see a tremendous material damage, but you don't see any damage to life. And so therefore, it's God taking control and working against what he created, and what he created has to obey him. See, the natural environment has to obey God. That's why he can say, peace be still, and the wind has to stop. See, that's why the storm is raising and water is flowing. He can just speak to it. See, a lot of things we want to try to get emotional about, and some things you just need to speak to it. That's all you need to do. You need to speak to it. So miracles are those acts that only God can perform. We can't do it. God utilized us as a vehicle or a conduit, but we are not the one that are doing it. It is God that is doing it. We just become the channel. We become that vehicle that he uses to make contact. Baker's Dictionary of the Bible defines a miracle as an event in the external world brought about by the immediate agency or by a decision of God. The thing about this, you can't control who God releases miracles to. It's not based on race, creed, or color, and it's not based on who you are in society or what side of the track that you come from. It is God's decision that he releases it. The thing about it is, it's not bound. It's not bound. It doesn't have any restrictions when God releases miracles. So when we look at this and we start seeing it and we say it's a God thing, then evidently God has some things that we must do in order to get them to be active in our life. It's very important. When you looked at Acts chapter 3, and you looked at the lame man who had positioned himself unbeknown. He positioned himself for a miracle. He was in the right place, even though his reasons for being there was not to receive a miracle. He was actually trying to receive alms. His change, he needed a change, but alms wasn't making his change. Sometimes money doesn't fix your problem. It's not money that you need. Sometimes we enable you to stay like you are because we keep supplying you with what? And money, instead of setting you aside and showing you how to budget the money that you already have. And that's what it takes. So he's there, he's at the gate, he's been at that gate for some time. People have passed him by. Like I told you Sunday, I'd rather keep you here than bring you in. Because if I bring you in, then I need to set up ministries. I got to set up things for you. It's going to cost me. I got to have handicap access if I bring you in like this. Without ever thinking if I can get him in the sanctuary. If I can get him in the presence of the Almighty God. He may be handicapped now, but he won't be handicapped long. And you know what? I think that's what we need to think about. Stop defining people by the process that they're going through. They're going through something and they're down and out, and we have already determined that that is how they're going to be. No, they're in a process. While they're in that process and coming out of their cocoon, it takes a while. How long did it take you to come out of yours? How long did it take before you dropped off all that weave and all that stuff that was around you and you broke free? One time we thought we were free and found out we still had some strings still attached to that was holding us back. So I'm in the process. Don't define me by the process I'm in. Pray for me and then watch what God does when I come out. Faith in God connects the power of heaven with the needs of earth. See, earth has needs. He says this, whatever you loose in heaven, I'll loose on the earth. Whatever you bind in heaven, I'll bind in the earth. Heaven has no needs. It is earth that has the need. If you notice, the heavens and the universe that was made was even made to minister to the earth. The sun ministers to the earth. Everything ministers to the earth. Heaven ministers to the earth. So when our faith that we have in God, we try to bring God, we don't try to bring him down. We try to get it to the point that he sees that I trust him enough to believe that whether I can see him doing anything in my earth atmosphere, I still believe that it exists. The Hebrew boys, you know what they said? Put me in the fiery furnace. Our God is able. He's able whether we burn up or not. Because I may be consumed in the fire, does not negate that he's able. And see, that's what we have to understand. Because you have not gotten yours yet, doesn't mean that God don't have it coming to you. See, sometimes it's coming to you is what you're doing that's blocking it. It is what's your attitude? We sing, I won't complain. Really, I think we need to get rid of that song for a while. Because right after we said we won't complain, talk to the person that's singing at the church. And what are they doing? They complain. They complain. You know, and it sounds good. I would, but I won't. I could, but I won't. Got some beautiful lyrics if we could actually believe that. So faith in God connects the power of heaven with the needs of earth. God knows what we need on earth. That's why he said, don't worry about what you should eat, what you're going to wear. I take care of the birds. I look at these birds out here in my yard, and they just eat all the time. I don't know where these ducks come from. The water's down the street. 5 o'clock in the morning, they up here. What do I have in my yard